What is it that you think that these veterans are getting out from you telling their story or them telling you their story, and what are you getting out of this process?
That's a great question. I was just having this discussion with our president, Blake Hanna, who's a tremendous individual. He's a civilian, actually, but he brings an incredible perspective to the work. He has a lot of respect for the military community. He's been with me the whole way, essentially, about 6 years. Um, 6 years I've been on this road. 6 years I've been traveling. 6 years of constantly being on the road. I'm gone more than I'm home. I'm probably gone about 3 quarters of the year. And I've devoted my life savings to this work, and and now we have sponsors, and luckily we have funding help. But if it wasn't for tremendous civilians like Blake coming alongside me and helping with this work, this wouldn't be a thing. So I have to be very thankful on the civilian side. There are patriots at home like Blake who are incredible human beings that are really helping this work. But Blake and I were having this discussion the other day, and the discussion was surrounding awareness or action over awareness, right? Because I'm so sick of the word awareness. Like, awareness is great, but what are we doing to actually help the problem? What are we doing about all these suicides, all these guys taking their lives? And for me, art in its greatest intention and its greatest point is about action. If you can create action around art, I believe you've achieved the ultimate goal. So for me, that's the ultimate goal of the work. So, but I was telling him, I said, I feel like, this so much of this is awareness, man. We need to create action now. And since then, we've joined on with a mental health organization that's helping out these guys and giving us resources to give the guys, and now offering a portal through our website to where guys can get real time help 24/7. So that's our action piece, which is incredible. But he said, Tim, you are creating action though. You're giving these guys something. You're giving them legacy, and that's mentally healing for sure. Like the ability for you to be able to sit down and tell your story, talk with a brother in arms, because I've served, I've gone overseas to Iraq with an infantry unit. I know what that's like. So you sit in the room and you're able to talk to a brother and then get that out for the world to see. There's a release in that for sure. And I don't know if this is why, but almost all the World War II veterans I've covered have died pretty quickly after telling their story. And I wonder if there's something with mental release there of feeling like I've told my story, I can move on now. And I don't, there are psychological studies that have been done on that. I don't know the numbers, but there's definitely some data um, that behind that I would love to see one day, because these World War II veterans, a lot of times after they tell their story, they do pass on. But on the Iraq and Afghanistan side, I just think that it's a mental release. It's an incredible thing to be able to sit down and be able to share your life with somebody and to share it openly and know that that person's not going to present it in a biased way. I'm just going to give you exactly, well, I am presenting it biased because I'm presenting it from their perspective. So it is biased.
Yeah, right.
But you're not getting anything from me. I'm not putting my own scope or take on it. I'm going to do a little bit of that in the introduction, the conclusion, but everything else is their words, and their words exactly as they put them out. I clear the transcript with the veteran. Not one word of that goes out if it wasn't said by the veteran, and that is big for me. Uh, Talk about journalistic integrity, which we're kind of lacking in this modern day culture. Journalistic integrity is huge for me in being able to just present the truth honestly and authentically as it is. So for these guys to be able to share their perspective and put that out there in that way, it's just been incredible for me. And for me on my side, man, it's brought a whole litany of things. It's brought me the greatest blessing of an occupation that you can possibly have. I mean, I can't imagine doing anything else. This is my blood, my oxygen. I mean, this is what I want to do till my dying day. But it's also brought on depression, quite honestly. Like, I've had a lot of secondary issues since starting this work, especially on the caregiver project side, where we tell the stories of the Gold Star families, those who've been killed in action, and we tell the White Star stories, those who have taken their own lives. We tell their family stories. So you sit in a room with a mother as she screams at the United States Marine Corps for taking her son. And I'm not saying like scream as in like, well, I'm exaggerating a little. I'm saying literally screams into the mic and breaks down crying 7, 8 times where you have to stop the podcast in multiple moments. And I've seen that 10, 15 times now. We just started the Caregiver Project a few years ago. That has brought some of my hardest, darkest days for sure. Because who wants to go back into that environment? Like, you lose friends overseas, but no guy really wants to go and talk to the parents again and again and again. That's tough. Or the mother, the father, the wife, the husband. So for us to be able to sit down in that room, it's an incredible experience, but it's also easily the toughest thing I've ever done in my life.